You know what the first thing I'm thinking of getting ready to start this review today? You know the first thing that's on my mind? When does Sasha Banks get a legendary match? The best female wrestler in the world, right? Best female wrestler of all time. When does she get to face a legend at a big show? Right? Charlotte gets to face Trish Stratus at SummerSlam a couple years ago. Becky Lynch is now going to be facing Lita for the Raw Women's Championship at the Elimination Chamber. But what does Sasha get? What does Sasha get? Best female wrestler in the world, carries the company on her back, and where's her match? Sasha never gets to face Trish Stratus. Sasha never gets to face Beth Phoenix or Lita or any other legend, right? It's always Charlotte. It's always Becky. They always get the priority. They don't care about Sasha. It took me years to finally come to my senses, but I have come to realize that WWE does not care about Sasha Banks. That's the first thing that is on my mind as I start this podcast tonight. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitz TV here, aka Lauren33. I'm back here tonight with another episode of the Legit Shoot podcast. Here tonight with your Monday Night Raw review and results for January 31st, 2022. We are finally at the end of January. Finally, February will be starting here in a matter of minutes. If you guys are here on the stream, if you guys are watching this on demand, we are already in the February, man. But yeah, if you guys are just getting to the stream, thank you guys for joining me. It's been a long weekend. If you guys were not here for the Royal Rumble review, you guys missed one hell of a review. I went on a crazy rant, man. But look, the biggest thing that's on my mind as we enter into tonight's review is my anger towards WWE is just growing and growing. My excitement, I will say it here first. Going into this weekend, I was actually excited for the road to WrestleMania. I was excited for the Rumble. I was excited for the potential WrestleMania, matches we were going to get. I sit here now, 48 hours later, and right now, I don't have that energy. I don't have that excitement. It is gone. It is gone. It is gone. And it is because WWE, I've said it now for years, there are 4 cancers in WWE. If you are not named not Ronda Rousey. If you're not named Roman Reigns, Charlotte Flair, Brock Lesnar, or Becky Lynch, you do not matter. You do not matter. Doesn't matter if you're the best female wrestler in the world like Sasha Banks. Doesn't matter if you're a great worker like Bayley or Rhea Ripley or Bianca Belair or Asuka. As long as you are behind those 2 ladies in the women's division, you will not matter. Doesn't matter if you're AJ Styles or Bryan Danielson or Kevin Owens or Seth Rollins, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods. The list goes on and on and on and on. If you are not behind, if you are not named Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Becky Lynch, or Charlotte Flair, you do not matter. It is that simple. You do not matter. And, Moose was right. Moose tried to tell me that for years. But seriously, you do not matter. It sucks. It sucks. There was a time where I used to believe that, but now I don't believe that anymore. Because all the real wrestlers, you don't matter, no. And look, I right now, I said it before, I was saying my excitement for WrestleMania is gone. There was part of me that was thinking about maybe going to WrestleMania this year. Right? But that's out the window. As of right now, that is completely out the window. Save your money. Or at least I'm going to save my money. Booking a flight, getting a hotel, WrestleMania tickets and food. I was hoping to maybe meet some of you guys at WrestleMania Access this year. But right now, there's no plans, and I have no plans to actually make that happen. You know what was announced tonight? Before Monday Night Raw, AEW announced that they'll be coming back to Boston, April 6th, which is legitimately 3 days after WrestleMania. I am already planning to spend the funds I was gonna spend on WrestleMania to get good seats for that AEW show. I am that serious, you know, because at least AEW, there's much more to be excited about than WWE. It's a sad. It's sad that WWE does not realize the talent that they have. It's always the same people being pushed. Always. I have no excitement. Some of you guys are gonna be excited. Oh yeah, Becky Lynch versus Lita, right? Lita, one of the goats of the old WWE. One of the all-time greats from the Attitude Era. Now going up against Becky Lynch. You know, one of the all-time greats of this era in many people's eyes. Right? Yes. A never before seen match. They're gonna have they're gonna make history by having a Raw Women's Championship match at Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, right? Whatever. But I'm looking at this from a more larger perspective. You know, why does Becky and Charlotte always get the big matches? Always get the big matches. Seriously. Well, right now, we have no idea what's the plan for Sasha Banks. Nothing. We were excited. Last week we were excited, hoping Sasha would come back, thinking that, all right, she's going to win the Royal Rumble. She's going to go on and have her big moment for WrestleMania, but that was never the plan. That was never the plan. I found that out the other day, and it broke my heart. And, this has been like a weekend of realization for me, right? And, if you guys can tell, this is my opening shoot. I'm just going off of anything that comes to my head when it comes to this women's division. But it was reported that, the Sasha was the backup all along. It was never the main plan for Sasha to win the Women's Royal Rumble. That was a backup plan because the plan was always for Ronda Rousey to come back. This was the plan. Ronda Rousey said when she, back in October, right after she had her kid, right? Ronda said, it was word that Ronda called WWE and she told them that she wanted to come back. But the thing about it is they just didn't know if it was going to be able to be done at the time because, she had just had a kid and she was in shape. That was the reason why Ronda was not showing her body in the Royal Rumble match. Even though, she looked okay, it wasn't the way Ronda looked a couple years ago, right? She seemed that fast. Some of her moves were sloppy, and of course, part of that goes to not being in the ring for a long time, but a part of that also goes that she hasn't been training. She's no longer a UFC competitor, and she probably was not training as much while she's been gone from the WWE. Plus, she just had a kid, which makes sense. So that's the reason why Ronda was not showing her belly. And maybe as we get closer to WrestleMania, that will change. But you guys get the point I'm making. But now, as the thing about it is when they got a little bit closer to the Royal Rumble, like I believe it was like late November, December, when they were having more talks about potentially the Royal Rumble, right? It was then kind of decided, all right, they're gonna bring back Ronda Rousey, and if Ronda can't make it, Sasha's gonna be the backup plan because they didn't know what else they were gonna do. It was legitimately Sasha or Ronda, And with Sasha got injured at the house show, that caused some turmoil because WWE didn't have a backup plan. They didn't have anybody else. They didn't want to have somebody win the Royal Rumble, which they didn't have plans for WrestleMania. Which goes to show that WWE, when they only have one direction, they don't think of when someone gets injured or other things happen. It's either one of their big names like Ronda, Becky, or Charlotte, right? And everybody else comes second. So if Ronda wasn't able to make the Rumble, and if Sasha, was not able to make it back in time for her injury, what would have happened? We don't know. Maybe Bianca would have won, but honestly, it seemed like WWE really didn't have a backup plan. And this goes to what we've been hearing reports of, because the reports were that WWE was a shit show going to the Royal Rumble. You know, superstars were unhappy backstage, and the backstage morale was low because everybody because everybody was having their plans changed. You know, that's why it was part of the reason why the Royal Rumble was such a shit show. Those matches were so awful on Saturday night because Vince changed plans like 20 different times. This is a problem with WWE. So the plan was basically, if Ronda wasn't going to come back, Sasha was going to win the Rumble. But when Ronda did make it clear that she was coming back, the plan shifted, and now here we are. But it's sad. It's sad that the best female wrestler in the world once again has to take a backseat to people who are beneath her. Ronda Rousey in WWE is beneath her, and I like Ronda, but at the end of the day, Ronda Rousey is beneath Sasha Banks when it comes to WWE. It's that simple. Becky Lynch is beneath Sasha Banks. Charlotte Flair is beneath Sasha Banks. It is that simple. But WWE will never see Sasha as that. Because WWE will always just view Sasha as a great talent who is only good to have at the top when Charlotte or Becky is not there. When Becky's pregnant or Charlotte's getting a boob job. It's that simple. So you have Ronda come back, she wins the Rumble. And now we have absolute no idea what the plans for Sasha Banks are going forward. No idea. I'm hearing reports that maybe her and Bayley reunite and go after the tag titles. I don't want to see that. Where I'm hearing reports of maybe Sasha versus Lita or Sasha versus Trish at Mania. I would like to see Sasha versus Trish. But at the end of the day, if I'm being honest with y'all, as great as Sasha is, it feels like they would just be doing, you know, a rehash of what they already did with Charlotte and Becky. Which isn't right in my opinion, because Sasha is above all of those women, past, present, and future. She's the best female wrestler of all time. Why? You already did Charlotte versus Trish Stratus. You already did Lita and Becky at Elimination Chamber, which we're going to see here in a couple weeks. So what? If Lita stays after Raw or after the Elimination Chamber and she goes on to face Sasha at WrestleMania, sure, it would be a great match. But it wouldn't feel right because we would have just seen Lita versus Becky the month before. If anything, it should be Sasha as champion facing Lita at WrestleMania. It's that simple. It's that simple. It doesn't feel right. It feels like they would just be throwing Lita to Sasha just because Sasha would need a big time match for Mania when they had already done Lita against Becky. You know? Hey, Lita, just stay, man, because, you know, Sasha needs a match at Mania, so let's just give you her. Not because they want to do Sasha versus Lita. It's because there's nobody else for Sasha to face because you don't put her in the championship picture. It's not right. And it's despicable. And, you know, I know on social media we've been doing this thing. If you guys have not been paying attention, right, I want to say thank you to Casey. Casey, she's been getting some of the clips from the podcast, and we've been posting them on social media. And, you know, Sasha was trending on Twitter because we're trying. I put a call to action on the Royal Rumble review for those of you guys who weren't there. Our best chance at getting Sasha that big time title match at Mania, like we all want her to, is that we have to rally together and force WWE to do what they had to do with Daniel Bryan back in 2014. Right? We gotta get Sasha trending on Twitter. No matter if it's hashtag we want Sasha, hashtag give us Sasha. And it was great to see that Sasha was trending. I told you guys, you would have to do it during Raw. You would have to do it during SmackDown. Don't be doing it during like an NFC Championship game because the whole world's gonna be focused on football and they're not gonna give a shit if we're talking about Sasha Banks. Right? And it was great to see a lot of you guys got into this, but we have to stand up. You know? Raw, on Monday Night Raw, you have to be chanting Sasha's name. And they didn't do that tonight, you know, in Cincinnati. But, you know, SmackDown this Friday, you have to chant, we want Sasha. You got to tell them that this is what you want. Because honestly, WWE has told us that we don't care about Sasha. As great as Sasha is, she's not a priority when they have Charlotte and Becky there. It's that simple. Charlotte and Becky will always come first, no matter how great Sasha is, no matter how much better Sasha is than those two combined. It's that simple. We're going to have to force them to make Sasha the priority over those two. And it may not even work, but it's the best chance we got. Seriously, because Sasha deserves way better than what she's been given. Way better. And the best case scenario, because we don't know. Ronda could still choose Becky. It's most likely going to be Charlotte, but you never know. Ronda did not make her decision tonight. And legitimately, it pissed me off because even though I do like Ronda, and, this is more that WWE has an obsession with Charlotte and Becky than Ronda being the problem. But still, Ronda did not sound like she cared to be there tonight. She did not look like she cared at all. For everything I heard that Ronda saying she wanted to come back to WWE, I'm sorry. Ronda did not have that intensity she had when she first came to WWE. At least not tonight. I don't know if this is part of the character she's trying to play, right? Or if she just really, really, really hates the fans. Because we all know Ronda, she does not like a lot of the WWE fans. She's been very, very vocal about that. But when Ronda was first there, that first year in WWE, right? Part of the reason why she was so great, she brought that intensity on the mic. She would hype you up like it was an actual UFC fight with some of her promos. Tonight, Ronda sounded like she had no care to be there at all. At all. And like I said, I don't know if it's, I just don't know if this is the character she's playing or if she, she just hates this company. She stood out there and she cut her promo in like 2 minutes and legit, there was like no emotion behind it. No, she sat there and she said, oh, it doesn't matter if it's Charlotte or Becky, still. Clearly they are building the Charlotte, they're building for Becky or Charlotte. They're building towards Ronda and Becky. That's the match that he was clearly building towards. Either it's going to be this year or next year at Mania. It's going to happen sooner rather than later. WWE told you that tonight. But it seems like they want to do Charlotte versus Ronda first and then do Ronda versus Becky next year, which is wrong and not the way to do it, in my opinion. It's egregious to me that WWE wants to do that match. I have no care for Charlotte and Becky at all. Zero care. What's the story there? Who am I supposed to root for? Ronda's coming off as a heel right now. Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda are all heels in my eyes. Ronda does not give a shit. You telling me the Ronda we saw tonight, that was a babyface? That was a babyface Ronda? No, that wasn't a babyface Ronda. You telling me I'm supposed to care about a babyface or a heel Ronda versus a heel Charlotte at Mania? At least Ronda and Becky, even if Ronda's a heel, there would be a little bit of intensity there because, there's a real life element. You had Ronda out there calling Becky by her real name, her governing name, Rebecca. Clearly those two still have heat with one another. They still don't like each other. Ronda and Charlotte, there's nothing there. I have no interest in it. I have zero interest in that match. But yet you want to do that? Why? We've already seen Charlotte and Ronda at Survivor Series. I don't want to see it. You guys don't want to see it. But WWE wants to force it down our throats and then put Sasha there and have Sasha back at the wayside playing second fiddle again. I have zero care for it. So I hate it. I hate it. WWE should just stop being dumb and just do Ronda versus Becky. It's really that simple. And what? What are you going to do if Ronda faces Charlotte, right? And Ronda beats Charlotte? Honestly, I don't know. Because right now, it seems like the plan would be for Ronda to be back in WWE for at least through next year's WrestleMania. But we don't know if Ronda's going to be full-time again. It seems like she's going to be more part-time than anything. Especially with this character, she I don't see Ronda being, full time at all right now. So what? You have Ronda come back? If she beats Charlotte, what do? Who you gonna have Ronda face? You're not gonna have Ronda face off against a freaking Alea or face off against some of the other people in that division. No, it's insane to me the logic gaps that this company has. The only people that Ronda would face again if she was to stay for the next year is probably Sasha again. Maybe have a match with Asuka. Maybe have a match with Bayley, right? Maybe have a match with Bianca and then Becky again. Maybe you can make a case for potentially Rhea Ripley, right? But that would really be it. Maybe you could put Shayna in there. But so you're gonna have Ronda stick around for a full year just to face 5 women up to another match with Becky next year? No, it doesn't make any sense, and it's just a waste. Do Ronda versus Becky now. Get it out of the way, and then we can build towards something else. Build towards maybe a better story going forward. But it's just insane to me. If Ronda looks like she did not give any shits to be there, and if she truly doesn't give a shit to be there, why the hell are you wasting our time by giving us Ronda versus Charlotte? Because I have zero care for it right now, and it's sucking the energy out of me and my excitement for WrestleMania. So I don't know. So we'll have to see what happens, man. But that's the way I'm feeling. Ronda's supposed to be on SmackDown this Friday, which I'm not surprised because we knew this. We knew that they were gonna have Ronda flip between brands because they're gonna try to use her as a cheap rating ploy. I don't know what the ratings are gonna be for the show, right? You had both Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey on the show, so I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm interested, but it is something to be mindful of. Ronda said she would make her decision on Friday. It's probably going to be Charlotte because it's going to be SmackDown, but who knows? Maybe Becky will be there. We don't know, right? But I don't know. I'm hoping. My hope is the best case scenario is that Sasha throws herself in here, right? If it's just a segment between Ronda and Charlotte, then I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be really, really pissed. Because there's no story here. I'm seeing no story here between Ronda and Charlotte. Nothing for me to engage my teeth in, right? I hope Sasha puts herself in here somehow. At least try to make it interesting. In my opinion, Sasha should be in there, and at least if you're gonna do Ronda and Charlotte, put Sasha in there and make it a triple threat. At least do that. But we'll have to wait till SmackDown. But like I said, if it ends up being Ronda and Charlotte 1-on-1, my interest is gonna go out the window. I have no care for Ronda and Charlotte. Honestly. What's the story you're going to try to tell me here? I'm not interested in seeing Sasha play second fiddle. I don't want to see Sasha fight for the tag titles or in some meaningless match. She's the best female wrestler in the world, and it's time she be treated like it. How the hell are you going to have Sasha go from the history she made with Bianca Belair in the best women's main event WrestleMania match, the best women's WrestleMania match ever, way better than what Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte did at WrestleMania 35, right? How are you going to go from that to having Sasha play second fiddle again? How many times does he have to prove to you guys of how great he actually is? It's insane to me. It's insane to me how WWE does not have Sasha as a priority and they keep wanting to do this dumb shit. Honestly. It makes me really want to see Sasha just leave WWE for good because honestly, this company doesn't deserve her. It doesn't deserve her. If Sasha was to pull what she pulled in 2019 when she was gone for 4 months, honestly, I would actually applaud it. I would applaud it because WWE does not deserve Sasha for the way they treat her. So that's my thoughts, on this whole women's division thing. We'll talk about Ronda a little bit more later in the show, but of course, Ronda's going to be there on Friday to confront Charlotte. We'll see if Becky and Sasha are involved, but that's my thoughts right now. Let me get my shoes. But yeah, so getting into Monday Night Raw tonight, right? This show, look, last week's show was pretty good just because of the wrestling. And yes, There was some good wrestling on the show, but like I said, my excitement being drained after what they did at the Royal Rumble, it made it hard for me to enjoy anything on this show. Of course, I would say probably my favorite thing on the show was AJ Styles and Rey Mysterio, but being honest with you guys, still, so pissed and so drained from what happened at the Rumble that it's just hard for me to give a shit about anything because my excitement for WrestleMania is just not there. And Moose Anthony texted me saying, "Fuck Becky, ill," because I told him about Becky versus Lita, and I completely agree with him. So the big thing is they are teasing a title for title match once again with Becky, or not with Becky, with Brock and Roman. And we thought that was, kind of out of the way for a couple seconds, right after the Rumble, after Lesnar won the Rumble, because we knew the plans were gonna be for Brock and Roman to face off. But they are now teasing at least title for title. It was revealed. There was a couple things revealed coming out of the Rumble that we should discuss. Like, one, there is no, they'd have no idea what the WWE title match is going to be for WrestleMania, which is a problem. Which goes back to my earlier point. Unless your name is Roman, Brock, Charlotte, or Becky, WWE does not care about you. It's that simple. The WWE Championship, the most prestigious title in WWE history, the plans for that title, the plans for that match at WrestleMania should be mapped out months in advance. Months, not weeks, months in advance. So you can tell a great story. But WWE, doesn't care about that, right? All it cares about is Brock and Roman. That's it. That's all they care about. And now we're hearing that WWE doesn't know what the WWE Championship match is going to be. Because right now, yeah, I know Brock's in the Elimination Chamber, which we'll talk about. But in my opinion, I just don't see it happening. I don't think Brock's winning. I think WWE's trying to tease. I think WWE's trying to tease that maybe they'll do title for title, right? But I think this is just another way for WWE to get Brock on the Saudi Arabia show. That's it. That's it. Because, it was like basically the only thing they could have done to keep Brock on TV up until March. Because if they didn't put Brock in the Elimination Chamber, right, we probably would not be seeing Brock till about mid March, a couple weeks before WrestleMania. You know, and it just goes to show the WWE has a problem. There's all they're focused on is Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns. How you not already have plans for the WWE title for WrestleMania? Because I think it's likely that Lashley's gonna win at the Elimination Chamber. If I had to tell you guys right now, because we already have the Elimination Chamber field set, right? I think what's gonna happen is everybody in that match is gonna gang up on Brock Lesnar, right? I think everyone's gonna gang up on Brock Lesnar. Everyone's gonna hit their finisher, and then that's how Brock's gonna get eliminated. You know, it would depend. Will Brock come in early in the match or will Brock come in late? I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. But that's what I think is gonna happen, and maybe they set up Lashley's opponent for WrestleMania in that match. If it's up to me right now, look, I know a lot of people want AJ Styles versus Edge, but me personally, looking at it, I think what WWE should do is they could either do Seth Rollins versus Lashley or Styles versus Lashley. Me, I want AJ Styles versus Lashley, right? But I don't know. I have no idea what WWE is gonna do. No idea. But it's just this looking at this whole situation, it's just like, ugh, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. You know, uh, because it's literally all they do care about is Roman elevating him. They just don't care about anything else. I have zero interest when it comes to Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, I just don't care about it anymore. I've seen the match 1,000 times, man. I sound like a broken record, but WWE keeps stuffing this program down our throats. How many times do I have to see Brock and Roman in the ring? What else am I going to see these two do to one another? It's the same match every single time. Suplex, 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 Superman punch, spear, and then whoever wins. We know that Brock's not beating Roman, regardless of if it's title versus title or it's just for the Universal title. We know that Brock is not going to win. And then most likely what's going to happen is they're going to take Brock off television after WrestleMania, and then we won't see Brock till about SummerSlam. That's the way it always is with this dumbass company. That's the way it always is, man. And my camera keeps fucking. That's the way it always is. I have no interest in seeing it anymore. I don't care because people say, "Oh, you want to merge the titles? Why? You know Roman's gonna win them. Roman would win them, and I just really nobody else for Roman to face. Nobody else. What? Now that Drew's back, watch. They'll probably do Roman and Drew at Elimination Chamber, right? They'll probably do that then. Get that match out of the way. Then they'll have Roman beat Brock at Mania. And then what? Who else is Roman gonna have to face? You have, you've ended the Roman and Seth program when it shouldn't have been ended. But now you've ended that. There's really not many people for Roman to face on Raw. There's really almost nobody. He's already beat, other than Bobby Lashley. That's all I can think of. He's already beat almost everybody else. So why would I have any interest in seeing Roman versus Brock when I know the end result? And it really doesn't do anything for a creative standpoint. Roman doesn't elevate anybody. Roman only elevates Roman. That's why I'm not that impressed with his title reign. Yes, he's been a great heel. And yes, he's gotten better in the ring. But at the end of the day, he hasn't elevated anybody. That's what makes a great title reign. Not just having great matches and representing the company. Roman does most of those things well. But as a guy, but you don't elevate, anybody through your feuds and through your matches. You're only there to elevate yourself. Most of the people that you've beat have fallen off the map since you've beaten them. It's really that simple. I'm not going to go through the list, but I'm not interested in that no more. That's why I just don't have any care. I have no care. Sasha was my only glimmer of hope, and like right now, it's with the way it's looking, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. You give me Ronda versus Charlotte and Brock versus Roman as your two big matches for WrestleMania. That's not going to be good for me. I'm not going to be able to take that. I have no interest in seeing that. And WWE has themselves to blame for this. It's the same garbage all the time. All the time. JD says, yes, the Ronda and Becky segment was absolutely horrific. Ronda sounded legitimately like she did not care. And I'm hoping, I know how WWE does. I'm hoping that they have the clips on their YouTube page by the end of the podcast. Because for those of you guys who didn't get to see, for those of you guys who didn't get to see, what is it called? The Ronda segment. I would like for you guys to be able to hear it. We'll see. It's not up there right now. They're just posting the clips slowly at the moment. Because now Monday Night Raw waits till like the end of the show to actually start putting up clips, right? So we'll have to wait a little bit. So if we have the clip of Ronda Rousey's promo at the end of the show, I will play it for you guys. But she legitimately sounded like she did not care at all to be there. Segment was absolutely horrific. But Anyway, yeah, so let's get into Monday Night Raw officially. I have the clip of Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. So the first things first. So Adam Pearce comes out, right, to start the show. I never care about Adam Pearce, right? But Pearce is there to talk about how exciting the Rumble is and talking about the Elimination Chamber and how Bobby Lashley will have to defend the WWE Championship inside the Elimination Chamber. So Lashley comes out, right? He's wearing a pretty cool little black and red flower suit. He's fist bumping fans. And here's the confusing thing to me. You know, right at the end, right at the beginning here, here's what's confusing to me. You have Lashley come out, he's fist bumping fans, right? You basically turned him babyface about a month ago, and then he comes in the ring and he cuts a promo like he's a heel. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck are we doing here? Is he face or is he heel? You can't be, fist bumping fans on your way to the ring and then acting like a heel, complaining about, how you having to defend your title. That's not what a babyface does. Everyone knows a babyface is supposed to be a fighting champion. So I'm sitting there like, what the actual fuck are we doing here? Seriously, what, like, is he face or heel? Because MVP and Lashley, they're both, you complain that it's not fair. He's, he just won the WWE Championship and he's being forced to defend it inside the Elimination Chamber. It's not right, And then all of a sudden, Brock Lesnar comes out. So let me play the promo for you guys.
Brock Lesnar. I knew that I was better than him all along. I am a better amateur wrestler than him. I am a better mixed martial artist than him. And I am a better champion in the WWE than him. Everybody thought the beast cannot be slayed, and I slayed the beast. And if you have any questions about it, we can look at the footage and watch me pin Brock 1, 2, 3. So all you Brock Lesnar fans out there, let me ask you a question. Who's the conqueror now? Who's the beast now? Who's the champion now? Bobby Lashley.
Clearly, there's some piped-in noise. It's pathetic. I hate how WWE relies so much on piped-in crowd noise these days. It's so obvious. It's to the point where other sports organizations are stealing from WWE. If you guys didn't, for my NFL people there, if you guys, been paying attention to what's going on in the NFL, you guys know what I'm talking about. Look at SoFi Stadium, where they're going to be hosting the Super Bowl in about a week, 2 weeks, right? They use pipe-in crowd noise to an insane degree. I hate it, man.
Champion now, Bobby Lashley.
So you have Bobby out here cutting a promo like he's a heel, even though he's supposed to be the babyface. Like, legitimately, remember, Lesnar was the one disrespecting Bobby the last couple weeks, calling him Bobby Who. And now you have Lashley out there acting like a heel. I understand sometimes WWE has this thing where they don't really care about baby faces and heels, but seriously, man, in some situations, you need to have a baby face and a heel because it gets confusing and the fans don't know who to cheer for. And going into WrestleMania, WWE does not understand that at all.
Now, the only way you beat me Saturday night was because of Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. You see, Bobby, I'm not mad at you. It's all good, man. It's all good. I am mad at Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. Now, you see, after that little debacle of a wrestling match that we had, which was a good contest, Bobby. I'll give it to you. Kudos to you. Kudos. Debacle. Now you see, after that little debacle of a wrestling match that we had, which was a good contest, Bobby, I'll give it to you. Kudos to you. Kudos. See, after that, Brock Lesnar took it upon himself and entered the Royal Rumble. Newsflash for you. Brock Lesnar won the Royal Rumble.
Should have never happened. Didn't need to happen. You didn't need to have Brock Lesnar win the Royal Rumble to get to where we are right now. You didn't. But hey, right? Like I said, if you're not named Brock, Roman, Charlotte, or Becky, we don't give a shit about you.
And that ain't a knee slapper, buddy. So Brock Lesnar gets to choose who he fights at WrestleMania. Now listen, no need to worry, Bobby. It's not you. You see, at WrestleMania, I'm gonna face Roman Reigns. It's got nothing to do with you, Bobby, but what it does have to do with you is, at WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns is gonna be title versus title. And that's where you get involved, Bobby. You see, as you can see, I'm dressed to fight. I challenge you for my rematch right here in this ring in Cincinnati.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I think we might see it.
I pinned you once, and I can pin you again.
Let's
Okay?
do it,
You
Bobby,
won the
come
Royal
on.
Rumble. I won the WWE Championship.
Get that $5 suit off and let's go, brother.
Will we see it right now?
Oh, Bobby, you're not a champion. Your manager is holding you back, Bobby. You're gonna let your manager hold you back? Come on, Bobby.
After conferring with the champion, the WWE champion, the Almighty says,
We're gonna just stop the clip right there. I don't really care about the rest of this shit, but look, look at the end. Then you guys know the rest, right? Bobby refused to face Brock, which makes no sense because Bobby's supposed to be a babyface now, but now you have him acting like a heel. Dumbass shit. You can't have Bobby coming out there fist bumping the fans, acting like a babyface, and then 2 seconds later he's acting like a coward heel. What are you doing? So then Bobby, refuses to face Brock, right? And then Adam Pearce says even though that's disappointing, Bobby will have to face Brock in the Elimination Chambers since Brock will be one of the 5 people trying to beat Lashley for the WWE Championship inside the Elimination Chamber in 3 weeks. And it just pisses me. It pisses me off, bro. Sure, even if we don't get the title versus title shit, right? It just pisses me off. Brock gets title match after title match after title match. Doesn't matter. He can go on any brand, whatever he wants, and he can fight for any title he wants. It's insane to me. It's insane to me. I hate it. You're putting everybody behind Brock and Roman. No one else matters. No one else matters. And that's such a disappointment in my eyes. So you have Brock. If Brock wins at the Elimination Chamber, how stupid does this make everything? How stupid does this make everything look? Because it was revealed today on Bleacher Report and by PWI Insider that the original plan for Royal Rumble was for Riddle to win. Because eventually WWE wants to do Riddle versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship, which I am down for. Even as much as I love RK Bro as a team, right? Riddle being built up to be WWE champion would be incredible. Riddle deserves to be in the main event scene. He deserves that. And we know Randy Orton, we know how good he is. I don't have to sit here and explain that to you guys. But, clearly we'll probably get that at some point down the line. That's probably why I'm thinking that they're not going to merge the titles. Right? They're going to keep them separate. But the thing about it is, it just sucks because how big of a moment, how cool it would have been to be in that St. Louis crowd, right? And see everyone go like, bro, as Matt Riddle celebrates a Royal Rumble victory. That would have been huge. That would have been fantastic to see. Everyone would have loved that. That would have been great. But here you are. You're, a potential, Riddle's already a star, right? But the push Riddle into that next level of becoming a megastar, a true superstar in WWE, because he's one of the only guys from NXT to actually make it on the main roster, to actually be successful, right? To see him actually have that chance and then have it taken away from him because all WWE cares about is Roman and Brock. It's sad. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. You cannot always just push the same people. That's the problem WWE has. They push 2 people in their men's division. They push 2 people in their women's division. Everybody else comes second fiddle. WWE has too much talent to be living by that retarded mindset. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, bro. And if Brock was to win, if let's say Brock does win Elimination Chamber, how bad does that look? You took the title off of Big E to give to Lesnar, right? Have Lesnar lose it at the Rumble to Lashley, just to take the title off Lashley, then give it to Lesnar, back to Lesnar again. What's the point of all this? What is the point of all that? It's a waste. You're hot potatoing the most important title, or what's supposed to be the most important title in all professional wrestling, right? Just for Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, a program that a majority of us don't really give a shit about. It's pathetic if you ask me. It's pathetic. If Brock ends up winning at the Elimination Chamber, it's going to piss a lot of people off because there was no point in ever taking that title off of him to begin with if this is what you really want to do. I'll say it. I don't think Lesnar's winning at the Elimination Chamber. It wouldn't surprise me if he did, but right now I think it's way more likely that he doesn't win at the Elimination Chamber, and they're just doing this just to get him on the card at Saudi Arabia, right? It's just to keep him busy till WrestleMania. But still, I still hate that they went this direction. I hate it. Lesnar shouldn't be in this match at all. If you ask me, if it's up to me, we shouldn't be seeing Lesnar on TV at all. I don't care how good he is as a babyface. I hate this shit. I hate how the focus is always on Brock and Roman all the time. Seriously, I don't care how entertaining Brock is as a babyface. I've said he's been great, right? Brock is hilarious in the ring, and it's good to see him, opening up his character and his personality. But still, at the end of the day, I don't like this direction at all. I'm tired of those two just being the focus all the time when it comes to WWE creative. It's really that simple. It really is that simple. So, look, we'll see what happens at the Elimination Chamber, but let's just pray Brock doesn't win, because it's going to be a lot worse if Brock actually wins. And I hate that. I don't think he's going to win, but it is something we have to keep our eyes on. So, Brock Lesnar, the first man to be announced into the Rumble with, or into the Elimination Chamber with Roman Reigns. Or not Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley. Imagine that, bro. Imagine that. Having Brock take the title off Big E, lose the title Lashley at the Royal Rumble, then win the Royal Rumble, just to then have to go on, to get another match at the Elimination Chamber. That's ridiculous and pathetic, if you ask me. But let's just hope it doesn't come to that. So moving on. We had Nikki ASH versus Rhea Ripley. This was pointless, right? We know that Nikki and Rhea have been feuding for the last couple weeks after WWE broke up their tag team, right? WWE really made this feud interesting. I had zero care for this match before, and I had zero care for it afterwards. So the match wasn't bad here. It's just I just didn't care. So Nikki ran at Ripley after the bell, but Rhea knocked her down easily, having the clear power advantage. Ripley powered her up for a vertical suplex, and Nikki suckered Ripley into a trap with the ring apron and beat her down. It was kind of cool to see Nikki be kind of very physical and aggressive here, right? Nikki was in control after the break. She went for a tornado DDT, but Ripley pushed her away and started to make her comeback. She drilled the almost superhero with a hard drop kick to the side of the face. Then she hit the Northern Lights suplex before Nikki hit the tornado DDT she attempted earlier. Ripley countered the suplex and hit the Riptide for the win. I'm going to be right back. I'm here to knock on my door. Give me 2 seconds. Apologies about that, guys. Oh, yeah. So, as I was saying, Rhea won with the Riptide, and it ends this feud that really had nothing to begin with. This is what I can't stand about WWE. You break up tag teams all the fucking time. You break up tag teams at the snap of your fingers, and then you expect us to care about these what's it called, these breakup feuds, right? But they never mean anything. The last time I actually cared about a tag team breaking up and in the feud afterwards may have been Sasha Banks and Bayley. Because that was a relationship that had years and years of freaking build up to it, And Sasha and Bayley are best friends in real life, so that added more to it. I saw this really cool photo of Sasha and Bayley. They were at the 49ers game at SoFi Stadium, the NFC Championship game this weekend. And I was just like, ooh. So that was really cool. And it just I remember the promo package, the video package for Sasha and Bailey. You know how emotional it was. It's one of my favorite video packages ever. You know, because the emotion's there. WWE breaks up tag teams so regularly, and the fact is, those tag teams have nothing with them. There's no story there. There's no emotion there that you just don't care about it. I had no care for this Ripley and Nikki ASH feud. You broke them up for whatever reason, right? And you gave us this 3-week feud that means nothing. It means nothing. Rhea doesn't come out looking any stronger. She got the win, but who really cares? Nikki ASH, what did she do now? Right? She's you have her still wearing that ridic fit every single week. You won't even change the heel colors. You have her coming out with a fucking butterfly on her chest. Acting like a heel, calling herself an almost superhero. What does she do now? Right? Rhea should be going after the Raw Women's Championship. Rhea's too good to be wasting time with Nikki ASH. But still, you broke them up. You could at least try to make a story out of it. I had no care for this match. I had no care for this feud. And it shows the problem that WWE has. I just don't know. I just don't know. Why does WWE think that we care about this shit when we don't? Like, you break up tag teams like it's nothing, and your tag team, your tag team division is already suffering. Legitimately, what if Carmella and Selena Vega done with the women's tag team titles since you broke up Rhea Ripley, Nikki ASH, and you gave them those titles? Absolutely nothing. Nothing has happened. So, look, what are we trying here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? The women's tag team division is absolutely dead. You break up tag teams like it's nothing, and you don't even give us a story to be proud of. This is the problems I'm talking about with the women's division. This is what I'm talking about. But WWE doesn't care. WWE doesn't care. They will, probably next week we'll have Bianca and Liv Morgan become a tag team. And then 3 months later, they'll go through the cycle. They'll win the women's tag titles out of nowhere, and then WWE will break them up, like it's nothing. That's because that's what WWE does. That's what WWE does. Absolutely pointless. Pointless. We'll see what's next, right? I don't know what Rhea does after this. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe watch. Next week it'll probably be Rhea Ripley versus Doudrop. Something like that. Watch. Nikki ASH, so they'll probably feed her to Bianca Belair next week. Absolutely pointless if you ask me. This is the story of the WWE Women's Division. Nobody matters. Simply put, nobody matters. So moving on. Next up, we had The Miz versus Dominic Mysterio, right? So this was like a random matchup here. They did try to follow up. They tried to follow up about the Edge and what happened at the Royal Rumble with the mixed tag team match. If you guys want my thoughts on that more specifically, go check out the Royal Rumble review. But Miz nor Beth Phoenix nor Maurice were on the show. It was just the Miz. So I'm expecting that we won't see Maurice on television, I guess, going forward. Since he did the mixed tag team match, which he actually looked okay with. She had that beautiful looking Hurricane Rana on Edge, right, and a pretty good spike DDT that she did on Beth Phoenix. So I'm expecting we probably won't see Maurice for a while here, since there's really no point of her still being on WWE television. Edge, we'll probably see Edge. I'm willing to bet maybe after the Elimination Chamber, so they'll start building towards whatever they want to do with Edge going into WrestleMania. Maybe Beth comes back for another match. I don't know, but I doubt it really. But anyway, we get the Miz comes out. Miz doesn't make any mention of how he lost at the Royal Rumble, right? They talked about it on commentary, but Miz didn't have anything to say, which was whatever. and then Dominic Mysterio came out for his match, right? So the match wasn't anything too special here, right? It was actually pretty quick. Miz was taunting Ray at ringside, and him and Dom went at it a little bit. So Dominic had the advantage early, and uh Dominic went for a 619, but the Miz was able to avoid it. The Miz then got into another argument with Ray at ringside. Then he shoved Ray at ringside and ran back into the ring. So, this was actually pretty cool here, and like very very smart. So the Miz pretended like Ray tripped him and got him kicked from ringside. Was like that's an alpha level heel move. I got to give the Miz credit. But and then after that distraction, Miz was able to hit Dom with the Skull Crush finale for the win, and that was that. Really the only big thing here was the finale of the match. I think Miz causing that distraction with the fake trip was pretty cool. That's great heel stuff, right? So I don't know where's this going. In theory, maybe next week we get the Miz versus Ray as Ray tries to get some revenge on the Miz, but I don't really have interest in a Miz and Ray feud. I don't know. Maybe if John Morrison was still there and they were doing Morrison the Miz versus the Mysterios, maybe, right? But I don't have any interest in the Miz and Mysterio feud. But we'll see what happens. Maybe this was just a one off. But if it is a one off, what do you do with the Miz right now? Maybe you have the Miz go after Damian Priest for the U.S. title. I'm not against that, but I don't know what else. Damian Priest wasn't even on the show tonight, so I don't know. Maybe that's what you do, but it is something to keep an eye out. So no really clear direction for the Miz right now. We'll see if that changes in the coming weeks. First, before we go any further, for everybody in the chat, I want to say thank you. You guys are. I'm looking at the stream numbers right now. We got a lot of people in here tonight, right? And definitely, if you guys are here and not subscribed to the channel, please click that big red button right down below. Then plus click the bell next to my name, Fitz TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. I love having new people here in the chat. You guys are awesome. Let's get back to it. So next up, we had Kevin Owens and Austin Theory, right? So before this, we had the KO show. KO's guest was Seth Rollins. And Seth basically talked about, even though how Roman cheated, or not cheated, Roman got himself DQ'd. Seth said that he had free real estate in Roman's head for life, and that next time they cross paths, he would be taking the Universal title from him. So right now, it looks like that's the end of the feud between Seth and Roman, which is, I guess a little bit disappointing because these last couple of weeks they had really cranked things up. Of course, with what the entrance that Seth had at the Royal Rumble with the Shield outfit and the music and everything coming through the crowd, that was great. Already gonna be a contender for one of the big moments of the year. God willing, when we get to the end of 2022. But I told you guys on the Royal Rumble review that the Rumble peaked with that moment. That was the strongest point, and really from there, things fell downhill with the ending of that match, with the DQ and then everything else that happened in that pay-per-view. But Seth, was then announced that he was going to be in the Elimination Chamber match, and it was kind of like a gift from management for his performance in against Roman, which I guess kind of makes sense, right? And plus, you kind of say that Seth got cheated, he got robbed because Roman got himself DQ'd. But it is what it is. Seth is in the Elimination Chamber match, even though, like I said, I don't know why they wouldn't just do Seth and Roman again at the Elimination Chamber. Because probably what they're going to do is they're probably going to do Roman versus Drew, a fresh feud, or a semi-fresh feud, because remember they faced off at Survivor Series a year and a half ago. But yeah, I think Roman Drew should pre-save till like after WrestleMania if you're not gonna do it at WrestleMania. Why would you want to waste on a one and done feud at the Elimination Chamber of all places? So I don't know. Maybe I'm just reaching, but still. But Seth's in the chamber match, right? Uh, KO was hilarious. KO and Seth have a very funny relationship on these shows, which I actually enjoy. And KO tried to convince Seth to go to management and advocate for Seth to have KO eliminate from the qualifying match and then be automatically placed in the Rumble like Seth was. But Seth chose not to do it, and Austin Theory came out, and they had no choice but to do Theory versus KO. But it was a great match, great match. This was another instance of heel versus heel, which I have a problem with, right? Of course, because WWE focuses on heel versus heel too much, or not really focus on heel versus heel. You have to be more clear about what the fuck is happening. Who am I cheering for? Am I rooting for? It seemed like, of course, the crowd was, lending a little bit more towards KO, right? Because they know more about him than Theory, and plus Theory's the bad guy, So that was that. But this was really, really good. Really, really good. So about halfway through the match, KO went for a cannonbomb. Theory was able to avoid it. So KO followed him out of the ring, threw him into a barricade, and hit the cannonball anyway, which I love that spot. Theory slammed always onto the stairs as the show cut to a break. So then we come back for break. Theory's going for a superplex. KO fought him back, but missed a moonsault. Like I said, it's always impressive to see KO doing those big boy moves up in the air. So after KO missed, what was it? What am I thinking? Yeah, KO missed the moonsault. And then Theory hit a backbreaker, right? So then they did a bunch of big moves back and forth, which was pretty cool. So then Owens hit him with a super kick and hit a Santon Bond. But then one was probably my favorite spot of the night. KO hitting a Fisherman's Buster from the middle rope. Every time he does that move, I'm just like, please get up. I feel like one of them is gonna get killed one of these days. And then near the end here, right? So after the Fisherman's Buster, Theory puts his leg on the bottom rope to break the pin, and then afterwards, as everyone is like, damn, can we get on to the next thing? As great as the match was, Theory then KO went for the pop-up powerbomb on the ring apron, but Theory was barely able to avoid it, and then was able to roll up and get his finisher for the win. I think it's called the ATL or whatever. But yeah, so Theory qualifies for the Elimination Chamber. So at this point, it's been Lesnar, Rollins, Drew, or no, sorry, not Drew, Roman, Rollins. Why do I keep saying Roman, man? I'm getting tired, man. I'm sorry if I'm fucking up some of my words tonight. You guys know I'm not usually like this. Excuse me. No, I gotta get this right. At this point, you had Theory, you had Brock, you had Seth, you had Lashley. I think there was one more, but I can't think of it. Made the check out. I guess not. Yeah, like I was saying, Yeah, I remember. This was announced later, but yeah, So Theory being in there is gonna be huge. That's gonna be huge for him. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm yawning so much today. I'm pretty tired. I'm exhausted. So they have my notes are messed up. Forgive me. There we go. So Theory gets the win here, and he's in the chamber. Like I said, I don't know what they're clearly Vince is pushing it, but he's not ready, right? And I thought it probably would have been better with the All Star cast you were building towards this chamber, with Lesnar, with Lashley, with Seth, right? You want to have an All Star also like KO in there, make this into a huge match, but decided to go with Theory, which is whatever. Give it to the young guy, right? Of course, we know WWE can't be trusted with young stars, but hey, it's WWE we're talking about. But why do I keep yawning tonight, man? Damn. And then, like I said, I don't expect Theory to win. But maybe he could make a lot of noise. He could, I could honestly see it potentially being like down to like the final three in that match. So we'll have to keep our eyes on Theory. I don't think he's winning, but keep your eyes on him. Then KO, on the other hand, he's probably gonna go back to feuding with Damian Priest. Remember, those two have unfinished business from what happened on Raw last week. So yeah, I don't think KO's gonna suffer at all. I think KO's gonna probably go right back and finish what he started with Damian Priest. I expect that easily to take place. Let's take a look at chat. Hey, JD is right. JD says, "You watch Raw. Show does put you to sleep." Yeah, facts. You guys are completely right on that. Like I'm struggling. I'm struggling just to review this show. I know, yes, I do like a 2-hour podcast every single week, but for some reason I'm struggling. I am struggling. We have to rename this to the Yawn Review, not the Raw Review, but the Yawn Review. Weesh. So that is that. We'll see what happens with Owens and Theory going forward. Next up, we had Angelo Dawkins versus Dolph Ziggler. So I think at the beginning here, Ziggler hit a super kick out of nowhere on Angelo, but Angelo was able to kick out and stay in it. And I'm noticing now that my camera battery is starting to die. And I think I can tell when it's about to die. It's dying already. So I gotta make sure I charge that later. But anyway, Ziggler hits a super kick on Dawkins. Dawkins was able to kick out. Excuse me. So then Ziggler Ziggler was in control. I don't think Robert Roode was out there for him, but Ford was outside. Was there supporting Dawkins. So then Dawkins, hit a right hand out of nowhere and started to do his comeback. He hit Ziggler with some shoulders and a bulldog for a near fall. Ziggler spiked Dawkins with a DDT and went for the super kick, but Dawkins blundered and hit a double hit undercook slam for the pin, which is a really impressive move, right? When you hit like that underslam, you actually kind of have to pick them up like pedigree position with all your strength, right? And they're completely raised off the ground, and you do the underhook slam. It's a really, really cool move. I love the way Dawkins performed, and Dawkins was able to get the win for the pin. You know, it probably had to be pretty cool for Dawkins there tonight because they were in Cincinnati, which is his hometown. So I hope that was fine for Angelo Dawkins there tonight. Doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but it is exciting. I mean, it's exciting for Angelo Dawkins. So next up, you had Otis versus Riddle, right? So Otis cost Riddle a scooter race with Chad Gable, which was hilarious. Because remember, you had that amazing spelling bee contest last week. So this week they had a scooter race because what like I told you, the spelling bee last week was great, right? And I'm actually kind of enjoying this thing. You know, sucks we didn't get to see Randy Orton there tonight, but anyway, it's not really hurting my enjoyment. So Riddle and Gable are basically doing a 50 lap, scooter race around the building. I don't believe it was true. Like they actually had to do it. I know they just filmed it at multiple parts during the show, right? Probably before, during, and maybe even, I'm not gonna say after, but before and during the show, they probably filmed a lot of it, right? But it was kind of funny. Some of the interactions, like Otis giving freaking Gable like A1 sauce as a lunch break. I was like, what the hell? Uh, but still, it was pretty cool. The match was pretty good. And the scooter race. Like, I'm actually enjoying this academic challenge. Because Cable comes out and he's like, thank you. The shoes. Like, I love when he does that. Anyway, in terms with the back to the scooter race, right? As they're racing, they're coming back down, head by head, or mano a mano. Then Chad Gable, I forgot what happened. Like his motor gave out, something like that, or his scooter gave up, and he slipped on his ankle. And it looked like he was down for the count, and Riddle was gonna get the win. But Riddle was, kind of, enjoying the clouds coming in, just saying there in a troll, right? So Riddle goes for the line finally after like a minute, but then he has somebody there waiting to beat his ass, and it's Otis. Otis comes out of nowhere and bulldozes Gable, which blindsides Gable. Gable gets up and he realizes what's going on, and then he comes over to uh he comes over to talk shit about Riddle. And like I said, Randy Orton was not there tonight. Riddle, had to handle it all on his own. And the big thing that happened is, uh, sorry, I'm looking at my notes everywhere. So, afterwards, right? Otis and Gable have a match set up, right? And before the match began, Pearce came out and said that this would be an Elimination Chamber qualifying match, so the winner would be in the WWE Championship Elimination qualifying match, and or be in the Elimination Chamber match. Sorry, but then Otis starts running through Riddle. He destroyed Riddle for the better part of 10 minutes. Let's absolutely wrecked him, and they're making you think, Joe Burrow, this wasn't good enough, right? But oh man, But then, oh man, even without Randy Orton there, Riddle was able to get that last little burst of speed, and Riddle started to connect with some knees in the corner. Then he hit the floaty bro, right? And it seemed like it actually affected Otis a little bit. Just looking at this, I'm just like, what the fuck? Yeah, anyway. These notes look so like, what the hell? Yeah, so Riddle's hitting the knees in the corner. He hits the floating bro. Uh, and then he went for the RKO that he gets from Randy. But Otis countered the RKO. But then Riddle got the win with a twisting senton for the win for a pin combination. And that is that. So Riddle is now in the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship the at the Elimination Chamber. You know, Riddle could win it, and it would be hilarious to see Riddle win it, right? But still, dude's asking to promote his song in here. Oh no, I don't know if that's the best idea. Guys, it is hard for me to get through this review tonight. Oh my gosh. So yeah, Riddle is in the Elimination Chamber match. Look, could Riddle win the WWE Championship? It's possibility, right? It's a possibility. It's an unlikely possibility, but it is a possibility, right? Riddle could win the WWE Championship match, and maybe they do Randy Orton and Riddle at WrestleMania. That is a possibility. We know that the WWE Championship match right now is up in smoke. Let's just keep it up in there. It is very much up in the air right now. We have no idea what's the plan for Bobby Lashley in the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. But anyway, so it does bring some intrigue. It does bring some intrigue. So we'll see what happens. But great to see Riddle win. Love that. And they did. Odyssey Gable did announce later that they would be. Yeah, we'll see. And I think they Alpha Academy announced the next week's challenge is gonna be what's it called? Freaking what's it called? A quiz bowl, which should be fun. Could get toxic, but should be fun. Like I said, I really am enjoying uh, these academic challenges with Gable and all this. Very, very entertaining stuff. Marcus, I see your question. As long as Roman Reigns is champion, yes, that is the plan. Well, any doubt in my mind. back, ladies and gentlemen. Try to splash some water on my face because I'm struggling tonight. Next up, we had. So then we had what was it? We had Bianca Belair versus Carmella, right around the 10 o'clock hour. Yeah. We had Bianca Belair versus Carmella. There wasn't too much here. But like I said, we had Bianca Belair versus Carmella here. And look, all right, this wasn't bad, but it just went on a little bit too long for me, because Carmella actually gave her pretty much a little bit of a fight. And like I said, remember, Carmella's not a bad wrestler, but my problem with Carmella is sometimes she screams during her matches. All right, I'm just like, you're trying too hard to play a character. Like Carmella's heel character here is, the whole, oh, I'm the most beautiful woman in the world, right? Being that cocky, annoying heel. The whole mask situation, right? Corey Graves being horny as fuck on commentary when talking about his girl, right? That's what's supposed to happen here, but still, there was like a point in this match where Carmella had freaking Bianca in like a headlock for like 2.5 minutes, and I'm just saying, like, are you guys, you have nothing else in the show? You're trying to waste time to get us to the main event? I'm just sitting there like, really, really, and I was getting pissed off, and you know, you can kind of see where the direction is going to be heading coming out of this match. Because it took me half the match to realize, wait a minute, Bianca beat Selena Vega half of the women's tag title, or half the women's tag champions last week on Raw, and now this week they had her going up against the other half of the women's tag champions, and it was clearly obvious Bianca was going to win the match because why would you have her lose? So after Carmella's was done with her wrestles, Bianca was able to take advantage, right? Uh, but Bianca was eventually able to get the KOD for the win and the pin, and that's that. So you got to start thinking. We don't know what's gonna happen right now. The whole Ronda Rousey thing has messed things up so badly. We have no idea what's gonna happen with. I apologize, guys. My camera battery's dead, so I gotta charge it. So I am getting dark on the screen, but we have no idea what's gonna happen with Bianca going into WrestleMania season. They could easily do something where maybe Bianca and Liv team up, right, and they go after the tag champions because WWE loves to do that crap. But we'll just have to be patient, especially now that we know that Becky's going to be facing Lita at the Elimination Chamber, right? We don't know what they're going to do with Becky. So I mean, with Bianca. So I could easily see Bianca and Liv teaming up like next week to go after the tag champions. Give Bianca and Liv something to do for now, since they're not neither one's going to be the title picture. Depending on what Ronda does at WrestleMania, of course. Oh, my head hurts. Ugh, forgive me. So we had AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio. This was, like I said, this was probably my favorite part of the show, right? Just two absolute legends going at it. with the winner, of course, going on to the Elimination Chamber to be the final participant in this match. I've also said already how I want to see Styles versus Lashley at WrestleMania if we don't get Lashley versus Edge, right? This I was legitimately excited for. But these two went out and absolutely destroyed it. Destroyed it. So, fun fact, these two have not faced off in a ring in over 2 years. I don't remember the last time they faced, but, still, this was great. So, at the beginning of the match, Ray went for a waist lock on Styles, but Styles reversed him and took him down. They went for a clean break, right? Then they did a test of strength. Ray did a beautiful sunset flip for a 2 count, but Styles put him in a side headlock. Ray took him down with a Hurricane Rana and hit a head scissors takedown from the middle rope. AJ hit a backbreaker to stop that. Ray then went for a sliding splash, but Styles blocked it with his knees. But Ray was able to put him in the barricade. Ray was able to put him into the barricade with Hurricane Rana. Then we went to commercial. But then we came back. Styles is back in control. This match got really good after this. So Ray fought out of it and hit a DDT. He scored a Hurricane Rana. He hit a Hurricane Rana and a springboard crossbody, which got him a near fall. Right. AJ countered the Hurricane Rana from the top rope, but he couldn't avoid the second one. Ray hit the 619, but missed the splash, right? And then Styles hit him with a payload kick. Ray still stayed in it. He went for some big move, which AJ countered beautifully into the Styles class for the win. Really good stuff. This was a great match. Easily the best match on the show. Sorry, KO in Theory. When these two legends go at it, it's always a great match. But Styles gets the win, and he's the last person to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. And like I said before, I want to see Styles versus Lashley. I would love for that to be the setup. I would love for this match to be the setup for Styles and Lashley at Mania, if we were to get it. But I am happy to see Styles in the Elimination Chamber. So we got our 6. Lashley, Lesnar, Riddle, Theory, Styles. I think I already said their names. I think I said their names. Lesnar, Lashley, Riddle, Styles. Oh, yeah, Rollins. I forgot Rollins. Rollins was put into this match as well. So the Elimination Chamber match has a stacked field, right? You have some of the best wrestlers in the world in Styles and Rollins, right? You have Theory, the up-and-coming talent, future star, maybe. You have Lesnar and Lashley, the 2 heavy hitters, right? 2 future Hall of Famers. You have a good balance going into this match. Very, very good balance. An Elimination Chamber match should absolutely blow the roof off that place. Should be great. So yeah, that's that. Please tell me that they have. I'm refreshing WWE's YouTube page. I'm hoping they have the Ronda clip now. All right, and here it is. It's there. So this will be our last clip of the night.
Did you know TurboTax is free? No
so
matter
Ronda
how
Rousey. So for those of you guys who didn't watch the Ronda Rousey segment tonight, pay attention to the tone of Ronda's voice here, right? Don't necessarily pay attention to the promo. Pay attention to Ronda's tone here. She legitimately sounded like she did not care to be there tonight. So
I've been debating since Saturday whose title I want to take at WrestleMania. Charlotte's or Rebecca's? I have unfinished business with both. Now, I could choose Rebecca, but my attention is a compliment she doesn't really deserve, because the biggest fight for any woman at any time is always with me. And Rebecca's stagnating title reign is not my problem. It is hers, though. Now, I could choose Charlotte just to prove that even as a contender, not even a champion yet, that Rebecca is still on my undercard.
Oh, I missed you. I missed you. Look at you out here using my government name, spouting nonsense. Well, it's nice to see that you haven't changed. But Ronnie, you lose credibility with statements like that, talking like I'm on your undercard, when I'm the only person in this company who's been able to beat you. And nobody's been able to beat me for this title ever since. I wasn't even sure that we would see you back here again. But seeing as this is your first WrestleMania back, I wouldn't blame you if you'd like to start with an appetizer like Charlotte Flair before going for the main meal. You know, sip down a cup of gazpacho. Or if you'd like to go straight for the meat and potatoes and choose me as your opponent, well, I'm all game. But if you could please decide soon, because the Raw Women's Division has never been hotter thanks to me, and I would like to know who I am going to beat next. So come on, time is money, and when you're big time, it's big money. So who's it gonna be? That's why you came out here, isn't it?
Oh, no! Oh. Nice arm throw.
You'll have my answer on Friday.
This was weak, bro. This segment sucked. It legit. I just rewatching it again just pisses me off. It makes me want to go to sleep. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna probably make this quick and get out of here because I kind of want to go to bed. Look, Ronda sounds like she doesn't want to be there. I like Ronda Rousey, but she does not sound like she didn't. This was not how Ronda sounded when she was there 4 years ago. She actually had the energy. Like, remember when she was feuding with Nikki Bella, right? When she was feuding with Nikki Bella, telling Nikki Bella how the only thing you ever knocked down was the door to John Cena's bedroom, and John Cena threw you out of that same door, right? And remember, one of my favorite Ronda promos was, I think it was the night after the Rumble, and then Becky announced that she was facing Ronda Rousey at the Rumble. A very, very historic segment. One of my favorite segments, right? Ronda, this was like peak Becky prime. Peak Becky with the man. Back when I actually liked Becky, right? But then Ronda just, with the mic, just talking shit, talking about how she owns the ground I stepped on. Like, let me see where I can find that, let me see if I can find that segment real quick for you guys. Maybe that will give me a little bit more energy, but found it.
What Ronda Rousey attempted to do last night with Sasha Banks, but Banks is a sore loser.
I love this segment. Becky Lynch, 3 years ago, back when Becky was actually enjoyable to watch on TV. peak Becky with the black jacket, the man shirt. I miss this version of Becky, not the Becky we see now, dressing like a fucking pilgrim in the ring. That outfit Becky wore tonight was absolutely horrific. It was horrendous. Horrendous. Like, so let me play this for you guys.
To hear this. I want my opponent to be looking me in the eye and primed to fight. I don't just want to beat you. I want to beat the best version of Becky Lynch that has ever existed. And let's just be completely honest for 1 second, shall we? You, me, and everyone else here knows that I can re-break your face faster than you could say Nia Jax. In fact, you, me, and everyone else here knows that I have the ability to kill you with my bare hands without even breaking a sweat. And the only thing stopping me is my decision not to. You know what, Becky? I just realized that we are the same age. That means while you were training, I was main eventing in a sport that didn't even want women in it at all, let alone in the main event. And last year, while you were in the kickoff show for WrestleMania, I stole the show in my debut. How long have you been the man, Becky? Because I've been a household name for a decade. You gotta learn something here, honey. Any ring I step into is mine. I own the ground under my feet, and I'm gonna own you at WrestleMania.
That's the Ronda Rousey I miss. And I didn't get that tonight at all. Didn't get that at all tonight. Ronda here. Do you hear the intensity in her voice? Like, she actually gave a shit. She wanted to tell a story here. The Ronda that you got here sounded like she did not care about being there at all. And I don't know what the whole thing was. I don't have any of those answers. But I didn't like it. You guys didn't like it. Ronda legitimately sounded like she did not care to be there. And at least, if Ronda's gonna be back, I want Ronda to at least sound like she cares to be there. You know, I don't know if she's trying to play a tweener, right? Because clearly the Ronda here, this is not a babyface. You can make an argument that Ronda's heel here, right? You know, some people are gonna say that she was acting like a tweener, but at the end of the day, you know, still, at least try to make me care. If you're gonna give me, it's already bad enough if we get Charlotte. If we get Charlotte versus Ronda, Charlotte's a robot, right? No matter when Charlotte's a babyface or a heel, I don't care about Charlotte. I don't. Charlotte sounds like a robot and she's terrible on the mic. If Ronda's gonna have this I don't care energy or whatever, we're gonna call this, it's gonna make a Ronda and Charlotte feud absolutely horrific to get through. WWE may not even have a choice but to force Sasha in there to have some energy, which should not be happening, you know, because Sasha should not be playing second fiddle to Ronda or Becky or Charlotte. But still, if this is the Ronda we're going to get, the Ronda we heard tonight, if we're going to get that Ronda at, you know, against Charlotte, oh my gosh, it's bad. At least Ronda and Becky they have history. They have something, you know, we can get into. Ronda and Charlotte, if this is the Ronda we're going to get, oh no. No, it's not going to be good. You know, so that's really my thoughts there. Yeah, that's my thoughts. You know, let me just, to be honest with you, Casey, I don't know if I agree with you on that, because I know Ronda, I don't know Ronda's thoughts, but I don't think Ronda's coming back for the paycheck. I don't. Ronda has money. Like, you know, I think it's something else. I don't know exactly what it is, but I don't think it's really about the paycheck.
Grammarly helps you work more efficiently, which makes accomplishing
And
your
so
work
let me
goals
play
easier.
quickly what we got with LITA here. I don't have much to say about it.
So rude, am I right?
That was so rude, yes.
What is her problem with you, you know? Are the GOAT, right?
I am the GOAT. Yes, thank you.
I mean, I knew since the first day I met you, you would be right here. You have set the women's division on fire. It's never been hotter.
Oh, yeah, you are complete.
That's a load of bullshit. I don't know. The Raw Women's division's pretty garbage if you ask me. Like, yes, they have names like Dewdrop and Becky and Liv and Bianca, but when the only person that's pushed is Becky and nobody else really matters outside of Becky, how can you say the division's on fire? It's not.
Completely right. And well, speaking of legends, I am a legend, but you are also a legend. I have been a fan of you ever since I was growing up. I mean, I may have gotten in trouble a time or two for wearing my thong outside of my pants, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, you know, the one thing that I respect above anything is that you're a fighting champion. You never back down from a challenge.
I am a fighting champion. I never back down from a challenge. What are you getting at here?
Yeah, no,
Becky's
so
dressed
you
like a
never back
pilgrim,
down
bro.
from
Oh
a
my
challenge, and
gosh.
so I was thinking, me and you at Elimination Chamber?
Oh, I'd love to see that.
No.
Cincinnati.
From a challenge. This is a challenge. It just
I
makes
know. I
sense,
never back
right?
down. I never back down from a challenge. But you're taking what I said out of context and you're putting it into a situation that doesn't apply right now. And
No, look, okay, look, the thing is, I know, it's a lot of work defending this championship, and, I mean, if you're scared, just say you're scared.
I am many things. What I am not is scared. If you want a match at Elimination Chamber, you've got it.
Yes! There you have it!
And then Becky, and then Lita just left the ring, right? And then Becky's sitting there like, oh, I just accepted a match with Lita for Elimination Chamber. That's it. Look, I'm not excited for Becky and Lita. I like Lita. You know, I just think Becky's overrated. And, you know, now, look, now we're going to be getting Becky and Lita when Sasha, the best female wrestler in the world, continues to get overlooked. That's my thoughts. I don't care what anybody else really thinks. You know, I hate that constantly, you know, Becky and Charlotte now get all the spotlight, right? While the best female wrestler in the world is forced to take a back seat, especially during the second, you know, we're in the most important time of the year for wrestling. Like, that's my thoughts on it. You know, we'll see what happens on Friday with Ronda, but, you know, that's really my mindset coming out of this show tonight. Tired of Sasha taking a back seat to everybody when she's too damn good to be put in this position. All right. But that's my thoughts on it. I'm going to, you know, end the stream here. You know, that's about it for the Raw review. I apologize if I know this was a tough review for me. You know, we had like nearly a 3-hour Royal Rumble review on Saturday. I want to thank you guys for tuning into that one. And thank you guys for the support on this one, man. I wish I wasn't so tired, man. I know. Here's a quick thing. I never go back and rewatch the reviews. Every single podcast I've ever done, I just don't have the time. I have work. I have all these things happening. I never have time to go back and rewatch the podcast. You know, so I know I'm pretty tired for this one. So I'm gonna, you know, end this, and I'm probably gonna go to sleep here in a couple minutes. But still, man, you know, thank you guys for chilling here with me. We went almost 2 hours, which is what we usually do on a Raw review. But still, thank you guys for joining me here on the review and showing me the support and sticking with me through, you know, this I don't know, this fatigue-filled show. It's, you know, I'm pretty damn tired and I'm ready to get some sleep. But anyway, thank you guys for the love and support. If you guys enjoyed the review, leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Click the bar next to my name, Fitz TV. so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. If you guys haven't checked out the Royal Rumble review yet, that is live on the channel. Well, yeah, thank you guys for everything. I will see. I do plan to have an AEW review on Wednesday. CM Punk and MJF for the first time ever in Chicago. That is going to be hype. I cannot wait for that match. So definitely expect an AEW review on Wednesday. I might have an extra video on Charlotte and Ronda Rousey where I might just post a rant on just my thoughts on that. So maybe that could be coming this week. You guys, we'll see how that goes. But either way, man, thank you guys for the love and support. I will see you guys later. So stay safe and healthy, y'all. Follow me down on social media. You guys are amazing.